Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the studio. This is my first tricks, ideas, and hacks video. So how cool is that? Anyway, so what I have here is, I have to talk really fast, which is going to be not a problem, but catching up will be a problem for me. Anyway, I have a bookmark mold here, which I have placed a little piece of like a stirring stick, and I painted that with some masking liquid, and then I popped it in so it's not moving anywhere. And now that is acting as a barrier because I just have those 4 letters to pop in there, and I didn't want the whole thing. Anyway, this is going to turn into a keychain. So that is the long story short. So I'm just adding the letters now over that resin that I've popped in there, and now a little bit of glitter. A little bit of glitter goes a long way. So I've just got a tiny little bit of resin already mixed up. My bird won't stop chirping, so I am sorry. It's just because other birds are flying over and they're all chatting and everything. So do bear with me, because I want to get this video out to you guys, especially for newbies, so that you can see what you can do. So earlier I have showed you the little mold with all the letters and numbers in there. So every now and then when I have some leftover resin, I will pour some in there, and I'll do appropriate letters that mean something to me. So Anna is my daughter, so I have Anna there, and this was like a light blue, but it was a bit too pale, too light, and I needed a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of jazzing up. So that's why I'm adding that beautiful blue sparkly ultra fine glitter and just pouring it over. And it already has a little hole for the keychain bits and pieces to go in there. So that's fine. It just needed that little divider, and I did that, as I said. And in case you didn't pay attention, I used a stirring stick. I broke it and cut it so it fits perfectly in there, and I painted the bottom and the sides with the masking fluid, and it sort of stuck in there, and I waited for it to sit. And then afterwards, when I popped it out, it just popped out real easy. Here's a little mold of a little coaster that I did before, but it was just a bit too ordinary. So I just popped in some diamantes. They're the sticky ones that, you can just peel off and then stick it wherever you want to stick it. So, and then just a little bit of that glitter that I had left over, and just poured it over. Just a little bit of an advice is, don't let your diamantes be covered with resin, because if you do that, all those diamantes will kind of disappear under the resin, and you will just get these little silver kind of plates showing. But it still looked nice, so I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, there's a lot of glittery glitter on there. So a little bit of heat, just to heat it up, and that is that one done. Here's another coaster that I did, and I just didn't like the sides. And instead of painting them, because I had some of that resin left with some of that glitter, I just dipped my finger into that cup with that tiny little bit of resin, and it was just enough to just go around and do the edges. And it's just like, instead of painting silver or gold or whatever color you want to paint around the edges, this is what I'm doing, and it worked out beautifully. Here's a little tip for this coaster that I did, and I used some little glass, kind of crushed glass on there, and one of those were poking out, so I just used my little chisel. And you'd be surprised how easily you can chisel out the crushed glass or gems or anything like that. So that works really well. And then you just pour a little bit of resin over it, and it's done. Now here I have a coaster which was pretty plain as well. So what I did was I just I just found like a little lid of a jar and wrapped it around with some plastic because resin won't stick to plastic, and just popped in some gems around it and poured some resin over it, and whoo, I have to really rush. So what I have here is another mold. Now that little reindeer that you can see that is just the brown part. I poured in a little bit of liquid tint on the back of this mold, which was kind of hollow, and then popped it out and put it in the front. So now I have it in the front, kind of poking out. Yes, Chippy, I can hear you, my bird again, my parrot, thinking that I'm talking to her. So then a little bit of gold leaf, and beautiful. There we are, going back to that little coaster, and look at that. How beautiful is that? Look at those beautiful white gems around there. The middle does look a little bit crinkly, but you can either leave it or, you know, just pour a little bit of resin in it to flatten that. Did not worry me, but it looks really gorgeous. And when you put a cup in there, it won't slide anywhere. It's just going to stay there. So now just showing you some of the coasters that I did, and showing you how I painted the sides just by applying some of the pigment to my mold directly. And I got this idea from my dear friend Tish from Naptime Creations. She actually paints the mold with a bit of acrylic paint, but I just used the pigments and it worked as well. So that little hollow bit there, you can just, you know, pour some resin in it and make it look funky. Here I have a little tray that I, you know, wanted to turn it into a tray, but it didn't turn out, the colours just didn't turn out well. So I wanted to use it to pour some more resin over it, and I didn't want to destroy the bottom of it, so I'm just applying some liquid, masking liquid over it, and just showing you that how beautiful it is. Now because this is latex, if you're allergic to latex, just wear gloves. And if your customers, if you're making this for a customer, is allergic to latex, just make sure that you clean it. Once you remove it, clean it well. And now I'm just applying some masking tape over the top of it, which will also help protect the back of my piece. And then when I pull the tape off, it will pull the liquid, masking liquid, I can never say that right, it will pull that as well with itself. So it's another little tip that, you know, I just do this, I just learn this just by doing, and then using the back of my scissors to really kind of press that down. And now just using my little knife and cutting around the edge, because this is a kind of was not a flat surface, so I need to use my knife to go around and cut out. Here we go, mixing the resin, and just showing you now, if you heat up your resin a little bit with your heat gun, it will release those beautiful bubbles that we don't really want. And now just real quickly just showing you how I recycle my cups and my stirring sticks. Once they're covered in resin, they are good to go again. And also my syringes, look at this, I just use a little paper towel dipped in some alcohol, wrap it around a stick, pop it in there, and, you know, swoosh it around, and then pull it out. And also the pointy part as well, just use a kebab stick or something like that as well, wrapped around the paper towel, dipped in some alcohol, and it's clean and ready to go again. So saving. How good is that? And now just showing you another way to pick up your mold that you've just poured, and you don't want to destroy it, but you have to move it because you want to do another piece of art. and you don't want to move your camera. So just slide a bit of cardboard underneath there, pick it up, and there you go. I just want to show you while this thing here is drying, the little cute little leaves. Oh my gosh. Oh geez, look at this side. Oh, it's really textured. That's so cool. Even this side's pretty, very transparent. I made these, and I'll pop them all out. You don't need a lot of resin in here to do this, but I'll show you why. So that is just some turquoise liquid pigment, tiny little bit, and some pigment powder of, what was it? Stardust, sorry, and this one here. So what I want to do is, I've got my little, this is supposed to be part of a keychain. Okay, so the other side is looking pretty average. So what I want to do is, I want to arrange these somehow and fit them in, and they could even poke out a little bit, doesn't really matter. Maybe like that would be nice. So either way you kind of look at it, you can sort of see, oh, that's nice. So I'm going to arrange them somehow, and then I'm going to use my, just so that they look nice both ways sort of thing. Maybe pop one on top. See what it looks like on the other side. I'll fiddle with that. I can't really do it now over this, but I will fiddle with it. And then I'm going to use my UV torch and my UV resin and glue it all on. And I'll show you the end result. Okay, so here it is. Totally transformed. I've put a little bit of that holographic glitter over the letters, and then of course the resin first, the UV resin, but it slid down off the letters, so I just sort of smudged it around and then heated it with the torch. I'll pop that one there, flip it over. How pretty. That's really pretty. And that hole is going to go in there. And then some other little goodies that are going to hang off it. So I'm really happy with that. What do you think?